You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show. Hello and welcome back to Movie Bears with the Farx brothers. I'm Kirk.
I'm Kyle.
And we're joined by Lisa Evanson.
Yes.
Comedian and actor. We are talking about the Grand Budapest Hotel. This is the spoiler segment.
So what was the thing you wanted to talk about?
Yes. So the scene where Willem Dafoe's character throws the cat out the window, Jeff Goldblum's character's cat. I would argue that scene, in the same way you need a punchline to a stand-up bit, the punchline is that absurd visual of the cat splattered with the blood around it. But it's done in like a papier-mâché, delicate way that yet is juxtaposed with how gruesome it is. That is so funny. It is so visually funny. Yeah, I would love to restart it again. That scene would read very different if he throws the cat out the window. You hear the meow, and then, did you just throw my cat out the window? Mm. And then they walk out. Would feel very different than seeing showing that cat to me was like, oh, these guys aren't fucking around, and it raised the stakes for what's to come in their pursuit of Gustave and Zero.
That scene to me is to show that the villains are willing to operate outside the law and go to violence. The purpose of showing the dead cat is because people won't believe it died unless you show it dead.
Yeah, but it all ties back to like showing the severity of the problem, like making you feel more of that pressure of the stakes that our beloved characters are under. As opposed to like, oh, he threw the cat out the window, but the cat must be okay. I don't know. It's something so subtle and yet said a lot to me.
Yeah, because then they go and kill Jeff Goldblum, and like that. What's funny is about killing cats versus killing dogs. I wonder if Wes has more affection for dogs than cats based on Isle of Dogs to begin with. But there are cat characters in there that are treated with love and respect. But like, it would be a completely different movie if Jeff Goldblum's character had a dog and the dog was thrown out the window. I wouldn't have laughed.
Do you think people would have been more mad if a dog was killed and
yes.
they showed...
Yes.
Yes.
Are you a dog or cat person?
I love them both.
But do you own either? Which did you
No.
grow up with?
It's not an option for me right now. And I've reached a point in my life where the opportunity cost of the time and money spent on an animal will likely never be worth what I could put that time towards. People will probably have strong opinions hearing that, but
You're a freelancer, as people will find out in your interview section being released after this.
Some people are called to being pet owners, and I say that with like dignity and respect for all animals. I would not be a good owner because that is... I don't have the time or energy
That's
in
fair.
my day. So I love, and I will stop and pet every friggin' dog I see on the sidewalk, dude. There was a guy I was dating. He actually complained about it one time. He's like, "Can you just walk past a dog and not pet it?" I was like, "No, I can't. It is a palpable urge to pet the fluffy thing that brings only joy." So I love dogs. I mean, I would probably say dogs. But I have met some cool cats in my day.
You're sitting in the man cave and you had to drive through an alley to get here. My children, the Farxlings, think cats grow outside because there are a lot of feral cats around where we are right now. Some have come into this area, and it's like we have a cat or two.
Yeah.
Because they come hang out in our outside living room.
This scene right here, like, look at that.
When they're showing the elevator to get across, and all this is miniatures and matte backgrounds.
Yeah, there is such a childlike wonder evoked just by seeing this scene and knowing what it took to create it. And as I was preparing for this podcast and wanted to watch it again, I watched it with a gentleman I was dating at the time.
Wait, is this how he's finding out that you're not dating anymore?
I'm like half joking when I say this, but how he responded to this movie, I saw it was kind of like a red flag. Like he couldn't fathom. He's like, I get it. He's like trying to be like whimsical. I get it. You know, yeah. Like he just didn't get the art of it.
This is a bait show, so I'm gonna try to blame you for this.
Wow.
How did you set it up for him? Did you tell him it was a comedy? Did he know who Wes Anderson was? Do you see this as a comedy? You said you laughed with your brother.
I see it as a comedy. Yeah.
Most Wes Anderson movies to me are comedies.
Yeah.
But if you took a random person if you took 10 people that come to your stand-up show and said, "Hey, here's a comedy," this is like putting Christopher Guest in front of them. It's not most people's taste cluster of comedy. Like a Hangover they don't make comedies anymore. They're all Marvel movies.
Right. Like, what was that big debate recently? Is The Bear was like put
Man
in
versus
comedy.
Bear?
nominated for comedy.
No,
Which would
like
you rather?
no, the show The Bear,
Bear,
was
nominated
put,
for comedy.
It was put in all the comedy
Yeah, and
award sections, like, and then it won, and then it was like the people who actually made like comedies were fucking pissed.
I think that we could both agree that awards don't always have the correct outcomes that lead to the most edifying solution, and I lean on Jerry Seinfeld's acceptance of a comedy award going, why are we doing this? We're not comedians because we win things. We're losers. I shouldn't be up here accepting a comedy award. I should be in the back again, making fun of all this. We're all dressed up, like, so that to some degree, that's what this is to me. Although this also represents the magnum opus of Wes Anderson's work to this point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Film.
Damn it, I'm going to disagree now. Something, I don't know. Isle of Dogs is better.
no, it's absolutely the magnum opus. I would agree with. Sorry, I agree, but what else do you want to debate?
I think of the scene from Taxi Driver, and I'm going to sound like a maniac.
Wait, sorry. And we can move past it. I forgot that you had asked how I set it up to that guy.
To this guy. Okay, if I can just quickly describe, neither of you have seen the movie Taxi Driver?
I've seen
Oh,
it.
I've seen it. But
okay,
again,
so you remember when
as a kid.
Robert De Niro takes the woman on the date to the movie?
Yeah.
And like, since he's only been awake at night and the only things showing are stag films, he thinks that's what going to the movies means. And it's like totally, she's like, why would you take me to this? It's gross.
Movie amnesia. I don't remember a thing about the movie.
Sure, that's why I described that. Is he thinks she hears, oh, I'm going to the movies with this guy I met. Cool.
Yeah.
And he thinks, well, these are what movies are because I'm only awake at night and these are what's showing.
No, I wouldn't say that.
That's the context of the scene.
Yeah, but I felt like he was taking her there just to get a reaction on her, not that.
I don't think that's why he was doing it. I think he's
Yeah.
emotionally broken, but we should
Debate.
We should do that movie
Yeah.
sometime. What did you tell this guy before you how many dates in was this? I don't know.
It was maybe.
What's relevant to you? I think you understand the question I'm asking because
Yeah,
I have set up movies for people on dates and it's not gone well.
I think I tried to not set it up too much because you want them to approach it with their current brain settings, because I think that's like what's most fascinating is how they're going to perceive it on their default settings. I mean, I knew he knew who Wes Anderson was. I knew he had a sense of like, yeah, he kind of makes these like cutesy, whimsical, and even just the way he said that, I was like, interesting. I think he was slightly closed-minded going into it. I think by the end of the film, I think he was even surprised how much he enjoyed it. I think he saw it as like some guy who makes almost like, the way he kept saying like cutesy and whimsical as almost like he was talking about Wes Anderson like he was some loser for making like cutesy,
this kind of
artsy like films. I would liken it to people who say like, oh, I'm a big comedy buff, and then you find out they just like slapsticks comedy and they don't even understand or get deadpan or dry humor, which studies say is a direct correlation of intellect.
Wait, studies say that dry humor is as a sign of intellect?
Yeah, like understanding dry humor, deadpan, sarcasm is a sign of higher intellect compared to someone who doesn't get that humor and only enjoys slapstick. You know, the type of person who loves prank videos but can't appreciate this work of art. You know what I mean?
I want to be very clear that I enjoy prank videos, just so that I'm not like acting like I'm better than I am. And part of me I hear myself saying it and I don't like it, but I need to hold space and step into myself as an artist. Like seeing this guy get to be an artist in this way, like making art movies for art movies' sake, to some degree. I know I'm supposed to reorient my brain and go, yeah, someone's doing it. That means I can do it. But when I was a younger man, I remember thinking, man, fuck him for doing his weird little like artsy movies. Like I enjoyed this movie when I saw it.
Yeah.
I was slightly older than you, but in my mid-20s, I think, something like that, mid to late 20s, and it hit me very well. And I remember thinking, my father wanted to see The Phoenician Scheme recently, and I was like, fuck you. 20 years ago, when I was watching Steve Zissou in The Life Aquatic, you were like, what is this? This movie's weird. Bill Murray's in it, and I don't even like Bill Murray. I'm more of a Chevy Chase guy.
Oh my God, I had that same reaction when freshman year of college, my roommate, I was playing Mumford and Sons, and she, quote, told me, turn that banjo shit off. And then like 10 or 15 years later, I think I saw on her story, she went to like a Mumford and Sons or Mumford and Sons adjacent band type of show and how much she loves them. And I just remember being like, piss off, you
At
know?
the Excel?
What'd you say?
Did she go to like one of the big?
I don't remember.
Because I saw Mumford and Sons with my wife at the Excel, and I can't remember who.
How was it?
I had seen AC/DC within a year of that, and to be honest, the experience was similar. And now having seen comedians in stadiums.
Same. Real quick, I love, this is one of my
Tilda
favorite lines.
Swinton.
My God, what have you done to your fingernails? They're completely diabolical. The color is all wrong. It's not that I don't like it. I am physically repulsed.
Because he negs women. He's the original negger.
I think the argument I heard, I also listened to a podcast, just to, shocker, to...
You actually listened to one?
I listened to, it was a
one.
2-hour podcast that took me months to get through, about the film, and I finished it just in time, only because, classic ADHD, it was only because the deadline was approaching, I finally finished it. But, there's no argument that Gustave is queer. And so I think it's
Wait,
like,
he's gay?
Well, at least
Well,
bisexual.
queer
right?
can be more than just black or white, Kyle.
Excuse me, yes, thank
Yeah.
you. That's,
No, it's
I have a very binary brain sometimes. So I apologize.
It's that he's fluid, and there's several remarks in there about like I sleep with all my friends, or even just the way he carries himself. Or at some point, someone said,
Okay, I got to push back on that as a bait, because he's specifically meaning old ladies when he says his friends.
he doesn't explicitly say old ladies.
Oh, it's implied through context, because all of the women, and then at the conclusion of the movie, he spends his time around older women who he's doinking, which is fine.
But you would argue he's only doing it for their fortune.
He wasn't, though, because he's surprised when he inherits the fortune of Tilda Swinton's character.
But what does that have to do with genuinely liking her? You can be surprised that the heist worked.
So you think he's genuinely doinking these older women to try to get the money? Because I think he loves them. I think he has, he's obsessed with the details of her nails because he's obsessed with her.
Because he's queer.
Just because you notice details about, this is like that.
It's not about the details. Have you ever met a straight man who would even notice the nails of a woman, much less the color, much less then have critique on the color, much less care so much that he's physically repulsed by it?
Yeah, I can think of someone. Wes Anderson.
Good points.
So
Wes Anderson's a straight man.
there's too many lines in the movie that refer. there's a line where someone says something about him like, "Well, you're awfully straight, aren't you?" And he goes, "Well, that's the first I've been told that."
I knew somebody that had their iron door keys, which is like the highest form of concierge ability you can reach, and this is somebody who, in their private life, lived in not fancy, but then they worked in 5-star hotels and would put on these airs, and I watched them interact with people and be interested in all of these details that I can bring myself to care about. But I have also had to be interested in details for various lines of work, and it pertains to his role.
I could argue we're almost talking like a horse or the cart, right? I think Wes showed that detail as part of the mounting details that he's not completely straight. There's just that. It's bordering on cliche that
I would argue, yes,
a gay,
referencing
or queer man
stereotypes.
would comment on someone's nails. It's just one of many lines that leads you to believe that he's not. And they use that line as a specific example of I sleep with all my friends. It's probably very intentionally vague because he doesn't specify women. He doesn't specify female friends. He doesn't specify female clients. He says, "I sleep with all my friends."
What's funny to me is that I can't think of a LGBTQIA plus character in Wes Anderson's oeuvre. Can you?
No.
Can you? Other than your argument for
Yeah, maybe.
H. Gustave or Gustave H.
Gustave, yeah. No.
Isn't that kind of odd given all the other, we've called him artsy and all this other, it would be almost impossible for him not to interact with LGBTQIA plus folks as a person in the film industry, but it's interesting they're not reflected in any of his movies. And now here you are making this argument to me, which I want to be clear, I do not accept, but it's an interesting argument. All the same.
Should we see, just out of pure curiosity, should we see what ChatGPT says?
I use the right-wing AI.
There's a right-wing AI.
I recently learned that if you're using perplexity.ai, that makes you right-wing.
Why?
And Mrs. Farx asked her if she wanted to put Perplexity into her Firefox, and she said no.
But why is it right-wing related?
It's just it's not Grok. It's not like
It's not Grok.
having rape fantasies and talking about every damn time or something. But
how's that? Why did that come into the conversation?
because we're talking about different AIs, and the AIs are controlled by different people with different political leanings. We earlier talked about in the non-spoiler section about how creeping fascism has occurred because of the alignment between big business and our government, and how the government was able to lean on big business to achieve its ends.
But ChatGPT, that's Elon Musk, right? Shouldn't that be right-leaning too then?
ChatGPT was Elon Musk, and that's OpenAI, and Elon Musk was forced out by Sam Altman, who I've heard reports, for example, on The Ringer's The Town, with reporters that have had firsthand experiences with him who say that Sam Altman is a normal person, whereas we all agree Elon has eccentricities. And his AI became a Nazi for a little while because he tweaked it. What does ChatGPT
How
say?
does that happen?
Oh, give me a novel.
It gave you a novel?
Yes.
Is he
Of
gay
him
or not?
being-
Is she to know, is he gay or not?
Okay, summary.
This is like high school. We're speculating on who's
While
gay.
Gustave's queerness is never confirmed, he fits squarely into the tradition of queer-coded characters in film. Elegant, performative, marginalized by society, and devoted to beauty in a world that doesn't value it.
So is Scar and Jafar.
Huh?
That goes into like the argument for Disney villains being queer, and I assume stereotyping I don't think is helpful in that way.
Wes Anderson leaves it ambiguous, but there's rich subtext to read into, and many do. I think the opening line was the most interesting, is that yes, many viewers and critics have read Gustave in the Grand Budapest Hotel as queer-coded, and there's a number of signs and layers that support this interpretation, even though the film never states it outright. Because that's also part of I think that's part of the power in accepting LGBTQIA plus members into society of being loved and accepted, is that by not explicitly stating it, you normalize it, as opposed to, see, he's gay, he's bi, he's queer, see? He's just like us. There's value in not explicitly stating it outright so that there's an essence of like not otherness.
Yeah, I like the way they did it in the Barbie movie, for example, and that played in Middle Eastern countries, and fuck them.
Barbie movie?
The
Which character?
trans actress, I think I'm saying that correctly, who plays one of the Barbies. They didn't catch that in Saudi Arabia when it played.
Oh,
because you know that I'm talking about. There is one of the Barbies.
Yes. I didn't realize. I didn't hear about this whole like it airing and them not knowing.
Well, yeah, it's like fuck you. And part of me wants a gay president because then like when they have to go interact with Iran or Saudi Arabia, it's like fuck you. Same reason I want a woman president is like our democracy's better than your.
Even this scene though, just the way he talks, his demeanor is anything but traditional masculine.
You would think I'm gay then when I'm wedding DJing, based on the mannerisms I adopt and.
No, it's more the way he carries himself, darling. He talks like this. You know, like it's the softness, the poeticness, the.
Not everyone who is effete is gay or queer, and I'm not trying to steal queerness from anyone. I like the idea that he's a hound dog for an older wine, if you will.
Wait, that was the interesting part, is hold please. He has many elderly female lovers, like Madame D, but there's a stylized, almost performative feel to these relationships. Some read them as transactional, opportunistic, or even kind of drag performance, playing the role of the charming gigolo while privately being more complex. Also, Gustave's close bond with Zero has emotional intimacy that flirts with something deeper. While it's not romantic, it does mirror a kind of found family or queer mentorship dynamic.
Queer mentorship? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. That's on my Louis and Apple's got canceled.
Queer mentorship?
It's interesting. It was like one of the first things, it was one of the first things they discussed in this podcast I listened to, but I think it is in most people's minds as they're watching this. Like,
well, and to the anti-fascistic things that I think we as free Americans would care about is that in They chased out all of the queer folks at the beginning of, Hitler's rise to power and burned all their literature and stuff like that. According to, I'm trying to remember where I heard or learned that, basically the ostracization of LGBTQIA plus folks would not happen in a pluralist society where multiple ideas could cohabitate as one hopes they do in our melting pot of the United States.
Well said.
We're reaching the end of our series.
Get your hands off my lobby boy. That's one of the best lines.
See,
Take your hands off my lobby boy.
the paternal nature that he exhibits. I'm not saying you can have gay parents, but to me it read as very, hey, I'm a dad. I'm coming in to do dad stuff, and that's good. And I would hope more, both queer people, but there's a, majority heterosexuals that would go, oh, well, I could see being a mentor to somebody, which would have a different connotation than a queer mentor, I believe.
Why? What's the different connotation between a straight mentor and a queer mentor?
Yeah.
Isn't there, and this isn't...
Are you?
When I referenced Milo Yiannopoulos, what he got canceled for was by commenting on how it is more common in this is not a community I am part of, I'm an ally intellectually. You see older gay men connecting with younger gay men, kind of showing them the ropes. And this is something I've observed out in the world, like, oh, these two wedding guests who seem to be together, one is older, one is younger, they're wearing the same outfit. I think and they're holding hands. I think they're a couple, one's older, one's younger. This is something you see, and I'm not judging it. I'm saying that is something I've heard talked about, and I believe that Lisa just read that off of ChatGPT when she said queer mentoring.
Yeah, but I don't understand in the
queer
context.
mentoring.
What do you mean when you say it's? Are you saying it's a bad
Queer
thing to be
mentoring
queer
is different
mentor?
than paternalistic protection, which is what I view
Yeah,
Gustave
but there
to
shouldn't
have
be a
for Zero.
difference between a straight mentor and a queer mentor.
I think that's where I'm struggling too.
Yeah.
You're thinking of it in just pure mentorship sense, whereas as I think of it specifically in how I've heard it with the gay community.
Yeah, wait, hold on. You're implying that if you have a gay mentor, you're saying that the gay mentor might feed their lifestyle to
No,
that
I'm not
mentee?
suggesting that at
No,
all.
wait.
I'm saying that people who are both, two individuals who are both part of that community, someone who's been, living that life longer would have more to pass down, which is a completely, I would argue, with the possibility of romantic connection, which is outside the paternalistic relationship that one might conceive in a other form, let's call it more traditional type mentorship. Like, I don't think Gustave is romantically interested in Zero at all. Would you argue that?
I don't think he is.
Exactly. So that's where I go paternalistic over queer mentorship because of the aspect that I've heard from, and I want to be clear that I think Milo Yiannopoulos is a disgusting person who said
But I
vile
still don't
things,
understand the qualification of queer mentor. Though. What does that mean?
The way I've heard it and observed it is that it is, and I'm just going to use gay men for this example, an older gay man with a younger gay man, and this is all consensual, all people who have already figured out, what they are, or who they are, I don't care.
But are you saying gay men can mentor straight men then?
No, I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying I think when you use the phrase queer mentoring, and I've just heard this phrase from an AI a little while ago, that to me related to a thought of, oh yes, this is something in this community that I've heard about that I don't perfectly understand, and I wasn't really open to the idea, and now I've opened myself to the idea of Gustave being queer, which I saw him as paternalistic. And I'm not saying someone who's queer couldn't be paternalistic. Thank you. Where is my GLAAD award?
I had the same question
Yeah, it was just
as you did,
confusing.
of like,
Did I cover it? Because you could still say, hey, I think what you're saying is bullshit, and I think you're a little homophobic or something, Kyle, and that's the fear I have.
That maybe it does come off a little homophobic because I don't understand the qualification that you need.
it read to me as because he has a paternalistic tie to Zero, he must be straight. As if like you can't be gay and paternalistic.
I reject the AI's notion that it's a queer mentorship. Like, it's a queer person who's doing a traditional mentorship. It is not queer mentorship as what I believe I've heard about in the LGBTQIA plus community.
Well, and that would also imply that Zero's gay.
Yeah, which
or
we
queer,
don't think,
and
we know
don't.
he's
Yeah.
pretty standard heterosexual based on the narrative of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've had gay mentors. I hope all of you have had mentors of many walks of life. And you mentioned a mentor earlier, and I was curious. How did you find your mentor, and what are the goals? Are they helping you develop these freelance goals now?
No, this was very temporary. When I was new in stand-up, it was more of like a just navigating like almost political dynamics when I was new.
Whoa, what kind of political dynamic? What kind of fascism exists in the local stand-up scene?
Not capital P political, but like
Oh, I understand.
yeah, comedy politics, yeah. And, I mean, it wasn't like an official mentorship. It was more like someone I felt comfortable occasionally being like, hey, what's up with this? Like, I don't know if this is how it stemmed, but I was like, hey, this person's kind of like routinely mean to me. What do you make of that? And then being comforted by like, oh no, they're mean to everyone, or the only people they're mean to are ones they perceive as a threat. So, oh, okay, thank you. You know, stuff like that. Of just asking the questions that you're not sure who you can ask because you're not sure how it's going to be perceived.
Do you mind if I ask, was this person also a woman?
Yes.
And that I assume as women are a minority in stand-up, is it correct to say that women are a minority in the stand-up scene?
Yeah.
Okay. That is helpful specifically relating to the political dynamics, small p, that you've mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a weird enough territory to navigate. There's no HR in stand-up, you know.
That's a problem for the film community locally as well, I would argue. But hopefully the community itself leads towards a greater sense of community and a standard by which even if you're working in a, let's call it more, what's hobbyist?
Sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but the three sisters, I could not stop giggling the whole time I was most recently watching it because they are so visually absurd and almost cartoonist.
They're like the evil stepsisters or the three witches.
Yeah, the
in
evil
Hamlet.
stepsisters are so brutally like Eastern European, like unconventionally attractive. And did you see what he says? He says, "You goddamn little fruit." That's one of the other lines.
Part of why I rejected him being... Oh, sorry. That was a good idea, Belle. That's why I rejected him being queer to some degree, was because I thought it was this bad guy.
I go to bed with all my friends. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The Adrian Brody's bad guy character being homophobic, and that someone who is a threat to me is automatically a homosexual. And because they use the F word twice, I think, in this, right?
The FA.
Yeah, the FA word.
I think so, yeah.
Not fuck.
Right, yeah. But even just the way he says, "You goddamn little fruit," I mean, that's pretty explicit.
Here's where he says it, yeah.
But you're bisexual. Let's change the subject.
Okay, so it's addressed and then specifically not addressed because...
Yes. And I think that's very intentional.
It's like Dumbledore being gay. You don't...
Yeah, it's not important to the plot.
It never plays into the first 7 books, and I can't remember in the prequels. Oh, in the prequels.
I would argue then, why is there so much dialogue committed to hinting that he's bisexual?
Yeah, I guess that's also a good point.
Why?
It's obviously not unintentional.
It's... Do you think it was discussed as frequently in the 30s as it was in 2010s?
And that's obvious, right? Is that the conversation they just had is probably more than... I mean...
No one would go, "You're bisexual," in public.
Unless they were heated enough about their, mother's entire estate being at risk, but...
And then acknowledging the years of oppression, I guess a form of fascism, that someone couldn't live how they wanted to in their private life and then participate in society in a meaningful way.
Yeah. We don't have to further debate it, but that scene was...
I don't know, you convinced me a little bit.
That scene was like very blatantly on the nose, like, "You goddamn little fruit." Yeah, but you're bisexual, and then something about you're straight, or... No, I think that's a different scene. And then him saying, "But you're bisexual, aren't you?" And then him saying, "Let's change the subject." Yeah. Because I think him being bisexual would have thwarted his leverage for inheriting Boy with Apple, because his whole thing is he has to convince others that he was genuinely in love with her. And if he's bisexual, that might detract from the believability that he was as in love with her as he actually was, if he's open to anyone and everyone. You know what I mean?
I think you have an argument if you're making it by 1930s logic, but I also think that this is a 2010s lens on something from 80 years prior.
Well, I guess it would have to be 1930s logic because we're watching this happen.
Yeah, technically it's 1932.
I know.
Yeah.
So I would argue we have to use the logic of the time frame that it's set in.
Yes. I don't think that guy would understand the difference between a fruit, the other F word he used, and a bisexual. They're all the same thing to him. Whereas now we would, recognize the spectrum of...
Sure, but
well, they're all
words
slurs.
they're so
bisexual
blatant
isn't
now.
a slur.
No,
No,
sorry,
but the F
bisexual isn't,
word,
but the
yeah.
other two.
Yeah.
But sorry, they're all three spoken with intonation of derogatory
Yes.
offense.
100%.
Yes.
The bad guy is saying it to try and hurt the good guy,
Yes.
as my children would say. And then I'd have to explain a lot more. We on Ironheart, there's a, I don't know where the person fits on the spectrum of LGBTQIA+. They would ask a lot of questions like, who has green hair? Because you finished all of Ironheart.
Green hair? I don't remember.
The green-haired person in the thief group. And I tried to explain, that is... my wife was like, just ignore it, don't say anything. And I was like, well, I don't know, that's someone who was clearly probably born one way and feels a different way, and it's something that people have in society, and now they're a thief, and that's unrelated to the first part we talked about, relevant to this plot.
I am curious, most of our spoiler section was debating if he's queer or not. Were there any other... I just wanted to see if there was anything else that was maybe more...
Never be jealous in life, not even for an instant. It's a quote I wrote down because I liked it.
Yeah, I think it's good advice.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to do.
What does it mean to have the persistence of civilization?
Be civilized, be good, I don't know, be decent.
Because Gustave talks about being able to preserve a glimmer of civilization. Is Gustave's insistence on manners and tradition an act of resistance against barbarism, or is it a futile nostalgia in the face of societal collapse?
You wrote that question?
No, that was partially helped by other things.
It's a very articulate, fascinating question. Poignant question.
It's a metaphor for how I feel about Wes Anderson. Because the, extra little details and niceties that Gustave forces into harsh situations is his attempt to preserve
humanity,
civilization. And civilized society being, a evolution of humanity. But is it dust in the wind, or does it actually preserve and help people hope?
Dust in the wind.
Well, I would argue that, as people will find in the interview segment that they'll hear after that, Lisa specifically inspired 2 different people to join stand-up and be in the film community. So it'll be exciting for folks to hear the interview segment that'll come up right after this.
Wait, Holly and who else?
You said that someone started stand-up because they saw you do stand-up, and I took that to be that you inspire people. So maybe Wes Anderson's...
I just couldn't remember if this was something I said today or
something
one of
you
my...
said today.
Oh, okay.
About an hour ago.
Oh, Kyle. You're thinking of Kyle. Said that I was the reason he got into stand-up. Yeah. I've been honored that I would say there's probably been a half dozen people who told me after the fact that they at least tried stand-up once because of me. Mm-hmm. And I take that very near and dear to my heart of, it's not always about us. Like, there are times where I'm like, I'm so scared to get on the stage, or I fucking hate stage fright. I hate how this wrecks my nervous system. But then in that moment, you can be like, well, it's not always about me. I should find the courage to do this because it's beyond me. I might inspire someone to achieve something in their life that goes beyond me just being a little bit nervous if my little jokey joke is going to work out. Just showing up can be enough sometimes.
That's right, wrong, Kirk.
Wrong, well...
It's not just dust in the wind.
Okay, I could debate that for a little bit longer, but I'm not going to, because I think that's a great place to end it. A nice sentiment.
Thanks.
All right, join us for Lisa's interview. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.